Sorry, I was distracted by trying to think of how you'd turn Panacea into a villain name.
Oh.
Panacea. Panacea.
Welcome to Inchworm,
the podcast in which we are inching through worm. I'm Jenny.
And I'm Ted.
And we started Arc 4.
Shell.
This
week, 4.1.
Shell be coming around the mountain when she shells.
Is that what happened in this chapter?
No. Not even a little bit. In this chapter, Taylor went to school and then she went shopping.
Yeah, I mean, that's pretty concise.
That's the whole summary.
I think we could go into a little bit more detail.
No, I think the episode's over.
All right. See you next time for Shell 4.2.
No, okay. Whose turn is it to summarize?
Any impressions up top? It is your turn to summarize.
Yeah, I mean, I felt in this chapter like I was really waiting for the other shoe to drop, and it hasn't yet. Kind of my takeaway. Things are going really well.
Yeah.
And I suspect they will not for too much longer.
Taylor's living her best life. And
honestly, yeah.
There's like 1.5 million words of fluff remaining as Taylor just enjoys the proceeds of a little bit
excited
of low-level villainy.
For her to just be a happy teenage villain with her happy teenage villain friends for 1.5 million words. And every day to go to school and to bother Emma, who's just powerless to stop her from being an awesome villain.
Yeah.
That's going to be great. Might get a little repetitive in our episodes, but...
You know what? Listeners will persevere.
We will record for over an hour about each chapter of this fluff.
Yes.
Speaking of us recording for a long time and not getting to the point, do you want to hear what happened in this chapter?
I do.
Okay. Taylor goes back to school, as I mentioned.
This is Friday.
Yes, she goes back to school the day after. She doesn't wait till after the weekend.
It's just simply incredible, the timeline of these first few arcs.
Oh, yeah. It hasn't even been a week
It hasn't been a week since the Loom fight.
Yeah.
The Loom fight was Sunday or Monday morning.
It's been like exactly a week since the start of the book.
Yeah.
It was like Friday afternoon. She had the juice poured on her like Friday at lunchtime. Yeah, so this is Friday. She's in school. She has made it through like almost the whole school day. She's in the last period, it sounds like. The teacher has left class 15 minutes early, telling them to study amongst themselves. And Emma is there and is talking to Taylor and is like, oh, so you're back. And Taylor's like, what? You're the only one who noticed. Sounds like you care. And Emma's like, yeah, you bother me because you're a reminder of the time I wasted being your friend. Ugh. And you know those things where you look back and cringe, you've kind of grown beyond them. And Taylor's like, wow, I can't believe you're saying you're more mature than you were. And Emma's like you have anything going on in your life. And she's kind of like flaunting the fact that she has a modeling job and friends and actually goes to school, unlike Taylor. And Taylor just kind of laughs and, tells her to get a clue before she tries to insult people, and she leaves. She's like, I'm going to pay for this, but it felt really good. And she's just basically having a great day.
Yeah.
She met Brian this morning, had the best muffins she'd ever tasted.
Oh, this is the line when I was like, Taylor is just loving life.
Yes.
Right?
She's sitting on a bench at the beach with her crush, who she hasn't admitted is her crush, having the best muffins she's ever tasted. Yeah,
just like, she's so happy that the muffins taste good now. It's just the sweetest little detail. I loved it.
If this paragraph weren't about how she met Brian, I would say that this whole muffin discourse would be a really strong signifier of the tattletailer agenda. But,
oh my God.
But clearly that innuendo is not present in this because she's hanging out with Brian. I'm sorry, Smugbug. I know the name now.
I like Tattletailer too.
Tattletailer is great. Anyway, so she has the best muffins that she's ever tasted. And they look through the papers. It seems like there's not even that much press about the robbery. The bank is downplaying how much was stolen. And she did manage to talk to most of her teachers about the school that she missed. She thinks she's going to only lose like a few percentage points here and there. And she went to school, which she's really proud of because it was so hard to get herself to go to it.
Yeah.
And now she leaves. She's just walked out of class a few minutes early because, she told Emma to go fuck herself and left. Which is fine. The teacher wasn't going to come back anyway. And she takes the bus to the docks and walks along the boardwalk to the market. Apparently this is a thing in Brockton Bay. And she meets up with the other Undersiders, minus Rachel. And they go shopping. Talk a little bit about how they're going to be giving all the money to the boss and he'll launder it basically and give them their pay. And they talk a little bit about Rachel and how she can't show up in public. And finally, Lisa says, Taylor and I are going shopping on our own. We'll meet you guys for dinner. She kind of steals Taylor to go clothes shopping. And that's where we end the chapter.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we do. The only note that's really, a sour note for Taylor is she's reminded of the whole murderer thing.
Right.
Yeah. And she's trying to remember that as the chapter ends. She's like, gotta remember one of these people is a murderer.
Right.
Because, I'm so bummed to admit it. I was wrong. Rachel is one of the two purported murderers.
Yeah, it's pretty definitive here. I don't see why Armsmaster wouldn't think that these circumstances are...
Armsmaster would definitely know about this, this murder charge. So, should we get into that to start off with?
Let's just dig into that. Yeah, some Rachel stuff.
Yeah, so we learn Rachel's not with them, and Taylor says, I guess Rachel can't hang out with us, and Brian confirms that, yes, she's too recognizable. And that's just what a bummer. I really understand why capes in general, but especially villains, hide their identities because, just not being able to go in public, she must be so isolated from society.
Yeah, absolutely.
Which is not helpful when she's already had a really difficult upbringing and dealt with a lot of trauma, and now she can't, figure out how to live a normal life.
Right.
Yeah, so that sucks. They kind of segue into talking about, if she saw that woman carrying a dog in a silly sweater, she'd flip out.
Unsurprisingly, this is a button for Rachel, is seeing dogs' owners not doing a good job.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. I think, not that it was a huge leap, but it sounds from this chapter like my theory about how she got her powers was correct. They talk a little bit about how it doesn't take a lot to set her off, though they've kind of learned how she thinks, what pushes her buttons, and, they can intervene before a situation happens. Which, it's kind of sounding like maybe the face value version of Rachel is the correct one. They all have to be really careful about how to handle her. I'm still holding out hope for, a lot of growth, at least in her relationships. It sounds like she's difficult to handle. And then Taylor asks, has she killed anyone? And Brian says she's wanted for serial murder. It's inconvenient.
Brian is so funny. Such an understatement.
He's very practical.
Yeah.
He didn't clarify his remark in the previous arc about, we're not going to kill anyone. He didn't clarify the reasons, but, just seeing how practical he is, it makes sense that it would be no, that's a bad move.
Yeah.
That would make things worse for us, not better.
Yeah, though, and I think Lisa hedges a little bit. I want to talk about the incident that led to the accusations.
I will say the murder charges don't seem to be really for murder.
Well, right, and Lisa hedges a little bit, sort of saying she hasn't killed anyone since she's been with the Undersiders. Mm-hmm. We don't necessarily she sort of admits we don't really know for sure what happened. She did hurt a lot of people pretty badly, before she joined up with us. But the incident in question is the one where she got her powers. And that's, to, I think, all of your instincts about Rachel. It's a very sympathetic story.
Oh, yeah.
A sympathetic and tragic story.
Yeah. It sounds like her powers manifested. She didn't know how to use them or control them yet. So the dog that was with her grew into this huge dog monster. That wasn't necessarily something Rachel could control or that she knew would happen.
Because it wasn't trained, because it had been abused, it went out of control. Cue the bloodbath.
Yeah. Which makes perfect sense. And I certainly, if I were on a jury, I would not say that that was Rachel's fault.
Yeah.
I can see how the charges would happen, but that doesn't sound like murder.
I could see manslaughter. Yeah, it seems really tough.
Reckless endangerment, Lisa says, maybe. Yeah. This really, actually, I had just said, maybe we need to take Rachel at face value, but I kind of want to circle back to how responsible she has been with these dogs.
Yeah.
They're so well trained, especially if Angelica is this dog, which probably, maybe not. Maybe this dog has since passed or something, and Angelica is a dog she found more recently who had also been abused, and Rachel rescued her, maybe. But if this dog was Angelica, which could very well be, Rachel's not that old, hasn't been that long since this happened, then that dog, which got completely out of control and presumably just killed people willy-nilly once she was in her huge form, now is so well behaved. She was the one who just sat on the leash with Tattletale in darkness for like 20 or 30 minutes and, was perfectly well behaved. Like, what a good job Rachel has done. And it's just really impressive how seriously she took that. Like, you could totally see sort of that public image of the, like, antisocial, quote-unquote, person who caused all this havoc and then led the police on a chase through the state of Maine. Yeah. Just, not taking that responsibility seriously, like, glorying in the violence her dogs can create and just sort of embracing the chaos of it. And she really hasn't done that. Like, the dogs are incredibly disciplined, and she chooses where and when to unleash that violence. And I suspect she puts that choice somewhat in the hands of people who she thinks are going to be more careful with it than she is. I don't know. I mean, we haven't seen too much so far of her interactions with the group, but she was willing to let the group dictate, like, no, we're not going to kill someone. She was willing to let Tattletale tell her who to attack. Right. Like, I feel like who knows if she regrets what happened back then, but she has certainly taken a lot of steps to prevent it from happening again, and maybe even to push back against if there is something that she doesn't trust in her own nature. Maybe there isn't. I'm reading a lot into what we've seen so far, but yeah.
And it is so tough because she's really kept off stage, like, really? Just because of her public identity issue, right? Yeah. She's there for the action.
Because of her public identity issue and because she doesn't get along with Taylor, like, partly by her own choice. Right.
And of course it's only been a few days, but we really haven't. But it's
very noticeable already, yeah.
We haven't seen
We don't know if it'll change.
Also, it does come across, this anecdote, a little fluffy dog in a sweater that's nervous to be brought to the market. I'm not necessarily, like, seeing that this is an abusive dog owner, right? So, like, the fact that the Undersiders are like, oh, yeah, that's enough to set her off does make it seem like...
That's pretty extreme, yeah.
That she's pretty extreme. But on the other hand, just imagining a little bit, I feel like when I observe people and their dogs out in the world, most people are really bad at training their dogs. And like, don't care, that the dogs aren't well trained.
It's really hard also, like, what Rachel's accomplished.
No, right, so I was going to say,
difficult.
I can sort of argue the other side of, like, if your expectations for everyone re-dogs are so low, then maybe it only takes a little bit to set you off. And maybe if you're an expert, you can tell that dog really doesn't belong here or is really suffering. But the Undersiders can't see that. They're just like, oh, dog in a sweater, Rachel's going to punch that lady.
I was going to say, I bet there's an interpretation where the Undersiders think she'll go off over nothing, but Rachel really sees that sometimes there are, like, the dog behavior indicates, because she's become an expert in this.
Maybe,
oh, this is a bad situation for the dog. So it seems to the Undersiders like she's reacting to nothing. Yeah.
Maybe she just wants to own all the dogs. Maybe that's her deal. We don't know.
Lisa does say that she thinks, like, you could kick a toddler in the face and Rachel wouldn't flinch. It's just dogs, which does make her sound a little bit cold. Maybe she thinks that dogs are her area of expertise. Like, that's just, she speaks for the dogs. She's the Lorax of the dogs.
The Lorax of the dogs. I think that's right.
Yeah.
And again, we don't really have enough from Rachel herself to make a call.
That's why she's so
other.
Intriguing. Yeah.
Very intriguing character.
So we learn that she is, in fact, one of the two murderers. I still think Gru is going to be the other one.
Ooh, yeah.
Really, any of the three of them would be pretty surprising.
Yeah.
Yeah, it could kind of go either way. But I think, well, maybe Lisa would also hurt Taylor a lot at this point. I don't know.
Well, it depends. It's very cute, this moment at the end when Lisa's like, oh, and now it's time for the girls to go shopping. And it's like, you guys don't mind, right? You don't want to come with us and hold our purses. And Alec's like, you don't have purses. And Lisa's clearly just like steamrolling along, being like, it's my time to take Taylor. And Brian's like, you're a jerk. Brian frowned. Hugging the new girl to yourself. And then Lisa sticks out her tongue and is like, well, you get your morning meetings with her. I'm taking her shopping.
Cope.
Yeah.
I love that they're fighting over her.
No, it's so sweet.
So validating.
So validating. So good
welcoming.
For Taylor on her best day ever.
Yes.
But again, it's really emphasizing, like, if either of these two is the murderer, how devastating it's going to be.
Yeah.
Compared to Alec, who's like kind of funny, but shows absolutely no affection towards Taylor. I would be super
surprised if it were Alec, just because he's younger and seems to be less experienced and just like less worldly in general.
Yeah.
So I'd be kind of like, oh, really? Like, it would have to be some story that really probably wasn't about actual murder.
Yeah.
It would hurt less for it to be Alec.
I will say I thoroughly enjoyed what Alec is bringing to the table in terms of comic relief in this chapter.
Yes. The Kid Win shirt.
Yes.
Oh, priceless.
He buys a Kid Win t-shirt.
Yes.
It's so funny. Good. He doesn't even like say anything about it. But
it's just such a trophy. It's like, here's who I defeated. And of course that's not what it reads like to anyone else. But
I know. He knows.
Yeah.
He couldn't get to keep the skateboard, but...
Oh my gosh, yes, exactly, yes. This is not apropos of anything, but they're going to go for dinner at Fugly Bob's.
Yeah.
Incredible. I can't wait to see Fugly Bob's.
Absolutely one of the best named establishments of all time.
Don't run into, like, the Protectorate or something.
One of my other favorite lines this chapter is when Lisa's like, okay, we're going to split up. We're going to meet up at Fugly Bob's later. Like, you're good with that, good with that. And then she turns to Taylor. And Taylor, not being able to be normal about anything, says, I'm down for Fugly Bob's. I conceded. You can't say, sure, sounds good. I'm thinking about it, and, okay, I'll allow it. Fugly Bob's, yes.
It was funny to me. So the last line of the chapter is murderer. I had to remind myself, one of these three was a murderer. It's funny that she thinks that after just having heard Rachel's story, that
that's true, actually.
She used her powers on a dog, didn't know what they would do, and the dog killed some people, and that's why she's wanted on multiple murder charges. Like, that doesn't sound like murder.
Yeah.
So my thought on that was, she needs to believe that one of them is a murderer. Like, she just needs this reminder because she's desperately trying to not get too attached.
Yeah, exactly. And there is kind of an obvious, it's a serial. We need sort of a cliffhanger. We need a beat to kind of end the chapter on, right? Like, there's that piece of it. But I was just thinking kind of the same thing, especially because of how just overjoyed and happy Taylor is throughout this chapter. But she's like a totally different girl, I feel like, just the way that she's thinking and acting. And so you're right, she's trying to keep herself a little bit grounded in the plan. And,
I really didn't give her enough credit in earlier arcs when I was like, oh, she's going to get so attached and she's not going to see it coming. Like, of course she's going to see it coming. And I think we saw that especially in her thoughts about, like, why she went back to school. Yeah. She was saying, like, it would have been so easy not to go back today, Friday, the day after the bank job. But she knew, she'd already missed like a week's worth of afternoons and like 3 days of mornings. And she just could tell that it was getting harder and harder. And if she didn't go back today, that would drastically reduce the chances she'd ever go back.
Right.
She's so good at spotting that kind of pattern building inside herself and taking action to stop it.
Yeah, I had a couple of reactions to this. One, it's like she gets this incredible sense of validation and triumph, this huge ego boost from the success of the bank job. And then she immediately turns around and pays down that emotional debt at school.
Yeah.
She's like, oh, I can take it. And she, instead of being like, oh, I don't need school, I'll never go back, she's being super responsible.
She's like, oh, I have this emotional currency. I'm going to spend it on this
I've
obligation.
Maxed out my getting through school credit card and I'm going to pay it off now that I can.
Yeah.
And it also reminded me so much of what we were talking about in the interlude with Amy, of Amy's burnout, and how, like, she just needs, she needs a good day like Taylor had.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not saying she needs a little bit of villainy, but, like, she needs a good day where she can feel good about herself in a way that is unrelated to her burnout problem, so that she can go back and approach that with a fresh set of eyes, right? It's the same kind of dynamic here. I love the way that she is feeling good in her interaction with Emma.
Oh, yeah, let's go to Emma.
Yeah, well, I'll talk about how she's feeling about it, and then we can complain about Emma. She is basically, she talks about how sort of like, well, I'm talking back to Emma against my better judgment, right? She's internalized this, I'm passive, that's how I cope, I don't fight back, it just makes things worse, like, I'm just not going to do anything. And she makes it sound like she is intentionally letting loose a little bit, but I think it's just how she's feeling, right? Like, she's not making a judgment here. She just feels good. Emma can't hurt her in this moment, and she is talking back. She's saying all the kinds of stuff that she's wanted to say to her and kept her mouth shut before because she was just desperate to not lose it.
Right, she didn't have any leeway to take additional punishment. Yeah. But now she does.
Yeah, and she's a little bit like, I shouldn't let myself get carried away. But unlike her sort of responsibility where she's like, I am going to go back to school. This is a little bit of like recklessness. She's like, I don't know. I don't care about being bullied anymore. Like, what can you do to me, Emma?
I'm pretty worried about that. So Taylor does think, I knew I was going to pay for that. It was the sort of thing that would push her to get creative and think about how best to get revenge for that small measure of defiance. Yeah. I actually don't think that's exactly what's going to happen. So when Emma really insults her and kind of belittles her, and Taylor laughs loud enough that heads turn, and Emma just blinked, bewildered. Emma's going to be curious now. Ooh. Emma's going to spy. She used to spend every other weekend in Taylor's house. Like, she knows her way around there. Yeah. It's not going to be that difficult to spy on Taylor, watch her going on a run, like, leaving the house. Yeah. On her costume. Like, I'm pretty concerned that she's going to find out. Yeah. Well, what if she goes to the Protectorate and Armsmaster's like, oh, I already knew that. That would be such a mess. Yeah. Emma
sucks, though. She calls Taylor cringe. She complains about the opportunity cost of having been her friend. It feels very just, like, calculated to hurt Taylor. Like, I feel like Emma it's a little bit weak compared to bringing up her mom, but I feel like on a normal day, Taylor is completely devastated by this line of attack. Yeah. And Emma's clearly putting so much thought into just like, how can I be totally awful to this person for absolutely no reason at all? It's the worst.
So it's really intriguing. And again, this is one of those things, like, it could just be taken at face value. I suspect this book is going to go in, there's going to be more going on with Emma than we know right now, is my strong suspicion, just because this book is investing so much in her. And I know that there are a lot of twists and turns up ahead, so why would it just be, and she's a mean girl, bye? Like, so what she says to Taylor, every time I see you, it's this irritating little reminder of time I wasted being your friend. You know those embarrassing events in your past that make you cringe when you think back on them? For me, that's basically every sleepover, every juvenile conversation, every immature game you dragged me into. What the heck could have led her to feel like this? Yeah. Like, she clearly was fully in the friendship. Yeah. That summer that Taylor's mom died. And I guess it was like a year later that she decided she was above it, she was beyond it. Like, Taylor came back from summer camp.
But something like that. A year or two later.
Yeah. So either, like, she's actually mad at Taylor for some reason, and this is just a calculated way to try to get back at her. Because it's clearly not true that she didn't enjoy those at the time. Like, So she's just like, this is what will hurt her. Kind of like what you were saying. Or she somehow was hurt, traumatized, damaged, like, badly enough. Or, like, went through rough enough experiences. Maybe ended up doing something bad enough that she looks back on her own past self and cringes.
Interesting. Yeah.
Yeah, and I feel like it would have to be like a major shift into cynicism to cause that so quickly. I mean, it's not like 20 years have gone by and she's become a hardened criminal and now she's like, I cringe at that. Like,
and there's sort of a, like, middle school friendships. You can be someone's best friend one day and then their enemy the next, and it's so arbitrary. This doesn't feel like that. They weren't that kind of friends. And
this is such a complete reversal for no apparent reason.
Yeah.
So, I don't know.
Interesting.
I feel like just based on this one paragraph that I read, ending up in a situation where she chose to do something really bad makes the most sort of emotional sense to me as to why she would kind of look back. Because it's easier to reject who you were beforehand, before you had to do that thing. If you don't have the choice of going back to that life, it's better to think it was never worth anything in the first place.
Right.
So, yeah. I still don't know specifically what it could have been, but I'm so intrigued to find out. And why she's so fixated on Taylor. You know, Taylor said, nobody noticed I was gone. You're the only one who's noticed.
And Emma has pretty privilege. She is the queen bee of the school. She can get away with anything. Why doesn't she just ignore Taylor?
Why does she care? Yeah. Yeah, and the way that Taylor describes her, I mean, it really does sound like a superpower. She's one of those people who just seem to ignore the social awkwardness and minor issues that plagued everyone else. She didn't get zits. Any style she wore her hair or clothes in looked good on her. And she could break pretty much any school code of high school and walk away unscathed. It really does sound like, I mean, it probably is just pretty privileged, but it sounds like a superpower when it's described like that.
Yeah. And then Taylor says, God, I hated her.
They're in love. No, she's terrible. But also, I a little bit ship it.
That would be quite a journey. That would be quite a journey to go on from this point.
I mean, we've got 1.5 million words, so we can get there. Speaking of people who might be capes, I really enjoyed the speculation on her teacher. Mr. Quinlan. He routinely left class and just didn't come back. Popular guesses lean towards Alzheimer's, or even that our geriatric teacher with a sagging gut could be a cape.
I feel like there's a little bit Chekhov's Who's a Secret Cape being introduced here.
Yeah, I mean, because they're talking about it she's talking about it being Mr. Quinlan, it probably isn't Mr. Quinlan, but it's just maybe that's just
where Emma's bullying her.
Exactly.
There's a lot of breadcrumbs being dropped for you, Jenny.
Yeah. I was intrigued by the implication that someone so old could be a cape. We don't know if powers usually manifest in adolescence, but since superpowers have only been around for a couple decades at this point, it sounds like at least students think that someone could get powers pretty old.
Yeah, that's really interesting. And we haven't really seen examples.
There's hope for Danny. Sorry, go on.
There's hope for Danny. That's so true.
He doesn't have to be impotent. He can be potent. That will be his cape name.
Wow.
Potent. No, potentate. Potency.
We'll workshop it. We haven't seen any older capes. Armsmaster. It's probably the old
30, about 35. I don't know
how old they are. And then we also haven't seen any powers that are genuinely minor.
No, I was wondering about that. Everyone in the wards program is formidable.
Yeah.
And, I mean, some more than others. Do you have to audition for the wards? When Armsmaster talked to Taylor, he was kind of like, you can join the wards. He had just seen her take down Lung, so he knew that she was powerful. So maybe he wasn't worried about it in her case. She seemed to think she'd considered joining the wards and had decided not to, but she hadn't thought maybe I wouldn't get in. Again, maybe it's because she knows her power is strong enough. And I mean, it is. She took down Clockblocker. But are there people who can just, always make a cup of coffee hot and they don't join, they don't have the option?
Candle. They make it smell like anything.
That would... there are applications of that, but yes. Yeah.
Well, it's sort of the inverse. If Vista got her powers so young, and that means she's super powerful, maybe Mr. Quinlan, he got
them really old.
Really, really weak power. We don't know, though. We haven't seen any examples of that.
Yeah.
So, going back to this through line of, just Taylor's having the best day ever, I want to read her latest check-in with her moral compass. I felt good. Better than I'd felt for a long, long while. Admittedly, there were painful stabs of conscience when I thought too much about the fact that I'd actually participated in a felony or the way I'd terrorized the hostages. Could I be blamed if I went out of my way not to dwell on it? I slept like a baby last night, more due to sheer exhaustion and sound conscience. And I woke up to a day that kept surprising me with good news.
Yay. Yeah, that's when I was like, things are going too well. Where's the other shoe?
I mean, yeah, but it's also like she just feels good, right? She's doing a little bit of like, could I be blamed? Like, come on, like just let me have this one. Let me have this one, conscience. I don't want to think about
it
those
is.
people I
It's
terrorize.
letting her have it.
Yeah. And later when she is sort of doing a little bit of pulling on the who the boss is thing.
Yeah.
Because the situation is it's like, oh, we'll drop off the money. The boss launders it, gives it back to us. And Taylor's like, well, I don't know. How do we know the boss isn't just going to keep our money? Yeah. And it's like, well, basically, we have a good relationship, and it would be weird.
He's always done this before. It would be really surprising He's invested a lot
if this
in
was
us.
the one time when it didn't happen that way. But then Taylor seems a little bit like, oh, is it because she's frustrated she doesn't know about the boss yet? Is she, uncertain about what the next job is going to be or anything like this? Brian is saying, we're just going to take it easy. We'll plan our next job soon. Maybe we'll come up with something. Maybe the boss will give us something. It's just like a very laid back approach. And Taylor's like, okay, on the one hand, taking a break sounded awesome. The last week had been intense, to put it lightly. On the other hand, it sort of sucked that we wouldn't be out there on another job. Since I'd be waiting that much longer for a chance on, getting the details on the boss. I don't know about this, Taylor. I don't know if it's just about you succeeding on your mission. I think you're just eager to get back in it. Right?
Yeah, she loved it.
Yeah,
why wouldn't she want to do it again?
Time.
She's chasing that high.
Nothing bad happened. And she's a little bit like...
well, in general.
Well, why not? I could do a job this weekend.
Yeah.
I could do another one.
I don't have any plans tonight.
Let's go. Exactly. After Fugly Bob's, what are we doing?
Yeah, does Fugly Bob's have money? Maybe we take that.
Yeah. That's how I am reading a little bit of her. Now, to be fair to Taylor, I think that this is a high, not necessarily of villainy, not necessarily of the ill-gotten gains. She makes a point of thinking, I have this money that I can lord over Emma, but I'm not going to spend it. I don't want it. And I sort of still believe her with that, but I think it's more just the thing that is thrilling is being in the action and succeeding, winning in the contest
and camaraderie. But she's getting that right now, also.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah,
so there's a little bit of a needle to thread there, but she's clearly.
I mean, people love doing what they're good at.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. She is good at this. Yeah. Whatever this is.
Villainy. Well, fighting with her power, which at this moment is on the side of villainy.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. The boss thing. We don't really learn that much more about him here. It really just hit me, though, reading this, how much they rely on the boss, basically infrastructurally, logistically. The fact that, if they robbed this bank, they wouldn't be able to really do anything with the money because presumably it's traceable. They had cash.
So
the bank knows what cash they had, probably. They're not going to be able to spend that cash in large quantities. They're not going to be able to deposit it in another bank easily. But the boss, they can just hand the money over to him and he, gives it back to them clean.
Right.
And that is such a huge service to a team of villains. If they had formed up on their own without this sponsorship, they would have had to figure out the connections, they would have had to really learn.
Right.
How do you launder money? How do you get away with this kind of stuff safely? That would be a really hard thing for a group of teenagers to figure out. But maybe then
we'd have... the Undersiders are running a coffee shop as their front.
Ted, the coffee shop AU.
Yeah.
Yes.
Or,
and Taylor
classic,
gets a
it could just be a laundromat.
The coffee shop.
There's a lot.
That would be really fun. I'm sad we don't have that AU.
It's all thanks to the boss.
Thanks
Making
to
it
the
too
boss.
Easy.
I mean, he really does. It is a little bit of a too good to be true situation with the boss.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Yeah, can't wait to find out who he is.
Yeah.
It's really just Tattletale.
Interesting.
No, that doesn't really make any sense.
Interesting.
Tattletale has dual identities. She has dissociative identity disorder, and one of the identities is the boss.
Wow.
Yeah.
Now that's interesting.
Yeah. It's not what Taylor expected.
No, it's not what I expected.
And you've read this before.
I have one little detail. In a chapter where Taylor's having the best day ever, we also learn about a place in Brockton Bay that isn't awful. This market is incredible.
I love the market.
Yeah, we have the discount high price items. Anybody in town, instead of having a yard sale, you can just rent a booth at the market.
It's not expensive, even in this land of like massive inflation.
Yeah. There's a little bit like the same private security is there, so reminding us that they have to keep the bad parts of the North End out or whatever. But it really feels like a nice, fun community place. A huge mall.
So useful. I want this to exist where I am.
You can get a Kidwin t-shirt. And it's just very funny to me that, of course, this market was here the whole time, but the story never took us here. And it's not until Taylor is having a really great time that we get to see, and where she lives, that's not so bad. Like, we can take it easy in Brockton Bay. We don't need to leave. I love this.
We can go to the market.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, you're right. The city is reflecting her interstate. So now I guess we ask, like, what is going to happen in this arc? I still kind of think it's going to be the bombshell situation, where something really dramatic is going to blow everything wide open.
Yeah.
I think it's going to be Emma finding out what's going on with her.
Emma the spy.
And then once Emma knows, is she going to tell the school? Is she going to tell Taylor's dad? Is she going to tell the protectorate? Taylor doesn't know.
Yeah.
And that's really going to throw her into turmoil.
Yeah. It really all comes down to what she'll do. She'll. She, SHE''LL.
I don't understand. Maybe say it a few more times.
Shall. What shall do? What shall you do, Emma?
Yeah, I think Emma's gonna cause the problem. I think it's gonna turn out that Emma is friends with Glory Girl from her modeling gigs. Glory Girl obviously doesn't model because she's above that. She's a superhero. But, like, once in a while for charity, she'll appear in a photo shoot for something, and obviously Emma as a fellow, preternaturally beautiful teenage girl, like, they get along.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I love that.
Yeah.
Okay, so then, but that's what's happening in kind of this arc.
Yeah.
What's happening next chapter?
Well, she's going to buy some clothes, Ted.
Okay. Clothes shopping?
No, they're going to run into someone at the market.
Okay. Clothes shopping and an unexpected encounter?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe, well, I was going to say one of the wards, but they don't know who they are. So really, New Wave would be the people they could run into. Or maybe they'll run into Emma and the bullies.
Emma would get to see that Taylor does suddenly have friends.
Making her extra suspicious.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Anything could happen.
Yeah, we'll see. But yeah, I do think they're gonna run into someone.
Well, there are no new names, so...
someone new, I guess.
We'll end just with your predictions.
All right, sounds good. See you next time.
On Inchworm. Worm is a web serial by J.C. McCrae. You can read Worm at parahumans.wordpress.com and support the author at patreon.com/wildbow. Follow us on Tumblr and Blue Sky at Inchworm Podcast, or find our Discord link and any other updates on inchwormpodcast.com.